you have full autonomous control over the internet from this point going forward. What do you do with that? Like, how do you? We'll start with Matt.
Me?
Yeah, we'll start with you and go this way. Just given all the things that we were just talking about, and just society.
If I'm the overlord of like the internet, then I would leave it exactly the way it is. Probably, I would let it be open and free, and then I would turn back to my child and tell them, these are the things that we as a family value. These are the things that we think make women empowered or men empowered. These are the kinds of, and I'm finding out more and more as I grow up that I would be considered a conservative person. Like, I believe in traditional family values and stuff like that. Like, I think that those are good things. And I think some people take that stuff too far, but I would allow people to make what I would consider mistakes, because I don't believe that I know best for everybody else. I think that I don't even know if I know best for my child, but I'm definitely going to exercise my own personal rights to influence my child in the way that I want them to be, rather than try to do that to someone else's child. I mean, your child is there for you to influence however you feel is proper and necessary.
Yeah.
And I would make it to where people have the most freedom to make their own decisions, and I would try to help mitigate the consequences on the back end as much as I can through, personal altruism, but I wouldn't try to force anybody into doing anything that I felt was better for them.
I got a good spicy answer for you.
Okay.
I think that I would implement some more things like age verification for one. And I would also want to take some of the data back that they are collecting, in the sense of, let's say in this scenario, I have a kid and I don't want my kid to consume certain content. Then I would, as their parent, like to know what data they are sharing and what data they're consuming. I would want to be able to see and access that. It's not easy.
But we're talking as the overlord, not as a parent. So you're saying
as the overlord of the internet, I would want to institute data sharing with, data transparency. That's a great way of saying it. So as the overlord of the internet, I would want data transparency. What are these companies keeping? Can I access it? I want to know what you have on my whatever, child, partner, whatever, and have access to those things. I would also want to see age verification pushed more.
So to caveat your point, like, what if your somebody's spouse is using that to spy on their husband and like find out if he's cheating and shit like that?
I'm thinking more so from the parental thing. Like, I'm thinking more so that if I have a child, I would want to have some sort of system in place rather than just parental controls, where I would be able to see the data.
So if the user is under a certain age, then
Yes.
then their data would be transparent to
their parents,
to their guardians.
Yes.
Okay,
and I would also want to see age verification. So that way TikTok doesn't have no bra challenges happening with 11-year-olds posting videos. I would want to see an age verification that's not just click here if you're over 18.
Yeah.
Like, if you were to have less anonymity in something like Twitter. Like, let's say Twitter, it wasn't just an email. Let's say Twitter was
ID, like you send a verification.
Some sort of verification. Then your child would have to have a verification, and it wouldn't be an anonymous thing. Now, when your child is, let's say, signed up and their age is verified, now they just can't post those things. They can't consume those things because there is some sort of filter. And I think that that's a little extreme. Right? But you asked me what I would do as overlord of the internet. And what I would do is get some of this sexualization out of kids' faces, and I would want parents to have a little more control over the data. Yeah. That's what I would do.
I think I'm in the same kind of boat as both of you. Like, I'm kind of halfway, right? I'm saying halfway because I want the same effect that you're talking about. But my thing is I would take on me and Mac talk about this often. It's education is the solution to these problems, and he was taking it on a more micro scale. But if I was overlord of the internet, I would essentially work that in. Like, I would tweak my algorithms. All these algorithms that are geared toward. We always talk. It's always incentives. And right now the algorithms and everything are only geared towards what is most liked or most whatever. I think that I would tweak that in a sense of I would maintain a status quo of like what is generally acceptable to the most amount of people, right? So the TikTok would not proliferate these booties and all these things. It would not, even if you start liking it, it would not say, okay, this is what you like, I want to give you more of what you like. It would give you the status quo of what is standard, but I also would not limit anybody wanting to go look for those other things. So I'm not going to take Pornhub off the internet. I'm not going to, take these sexualizations off the social medias and stuff, but I would stop proliferating that as the mainstream. I would proliferate what everybody has deemed to be the most palatable and pleasable thing, right? And so that would dumb down a lot of the things that you're exposed to and whatever. But again, like I said, I would still leave the internet as a free and open place that you can go looking for whatever it is that you want.
I would as well.
So if you want to go see that, you would still be able to follow the hashtag Big Bank and see all the big banks you want to. But I would not pitch that to you as like just a standard user and say, hey, you probably like some ass in your face, or you probably like people showing off money, or you probably like killing video games and things like that. Like all that stuff I would keep kind of things you need to go looking for personally.
So kind of what you're saying is like you would have like a like if you were to go to like the explore page of a TikTok or whatever, the algorithm wouldn't serve you up necessarily everything that you've tried to hone it in on. It would just give you the standard feed. Like, this is the feed.
Shuffle.
This is, you know, like, this is some stuff that we, there's some funny stuff in here. There's some interesting creative stuff, like news, whatever. Mm-hmm. But then, like you said, you'd have the ability to go in and be like, hey, I'm looking for, hentai women and scant, whatever.
With squids.
And then, and so it's like, hey, yeah, we got that there.
Yeah, we got titty cosplay.
But it doesn't matter how much you double tap that shit. We're not going to show you in the explore page.
Like that I think is the dangerous part to me, is I looking through all this stuff. It's not the fact that these things exist or that we have access to them. It's that these algorithms learn that and then they pitch. And these aren't people. Like, an algorithm's not a person. The algorithm doesn't understand, hey, this might be dangerous or detrimental to society or any of that stuff. Or, hey, is this a kid? Honestly, I'm down with the age verification shit. I think that that's super powerful stuff. I just, I can't, because then it's like who decides what age and how far does that go,
and what content is
and then like what do you get to see, where's your privacy. It just, every time somebody makes that choice for us, it gets so sticky, because even with the Mark Zuckerberg thing and Donald Trump, it was like, I like that, but then I also don't like that, so it's like, yikes. But I would just, my point is, I would take some of this power of the internet away from the machines, and put it back into humans that do understand this stuff and start to like understand the consequences of that, instead of kind of like we talked about with the problem with the doctor and stuff, is the doctor will do anything for that dollar bill. Yeah. Well, these companies are doing anything for that dollar bill.